state, you are literally rewriting the script of your life. Now let me make something very clear. When you assume a state, you must persist in that state until it becomes your natural attitude of mind. The secret of success is found in the state of consciousness from which your action flows. If your action is flowing from a consciousness of lack, it will produce more lack. If your action flows from a consciousness of abundance, it will produce more abundance. Many of you have tried to demonstrate specific things or conditions in your life and have failed. You have prayed, you have affirmed, you have visualized, yet nothing has changed. Why is this so? It is because you have tried to change the fruit while ignoring the root. The root is your concept of self. Your concept of self determines everything in your world. If you would focus on yourself daily, begin by asking, what am I conscious of being? Not what do I want to be, not what should I be, but what am I conscious of being right now? For your consciousness of being is God, the only creator. Your I am-ness is the God of Scripture. I am that I am is not a statement about a distant deity. It is the foundational truth of your own being. The whole vast universe exists within your own wonderful human imagination, and it is from this imagination that your world takes its shape. When you say I am, you are declaring the name of God. Whatever follows that I am becomes the mold from which your reality is cast. I am poor, I am unwanted, I am sick. These become the reality you experience. But equally, I am wealthy, I am loved, I am healthy. These two must become your reality when persisted in faithfully. To focus on yourself daily means to consciously select the I am statements that you will entertain. It means to deliberately choose the state from which you will view the world. For make no mistake, my dear friends, you are always in a state. There is no moment when you are not assuming some concept of self. The question is whether you are doing this consciously or unconsciously. Now let me share with you the practical application of this principle. Each day, preferably before sleep and upon awakening, enter into the silence of your own being. Close your eyes to the evidence of your senses and become still. In this stillness, construct a scene which would imply the fulfillment of your desire. If it is wealth you seek, feel the joy of financial freedom. If it's health, feel the relief and gratitude of perfect well-being. If it is a loving relationship, feel the warmth and intimacy of loving and being loved. Enter fully into this scene. Make it real in your imagination. Feel the naturalness of it. Then, while in this state, repeat yourself the simple phrase, this is who I am. Feel the truth of this statement. Let it sink deep into your subconscious mind. Then, open your eyes, but maintain the feeling you have generated. This is spiritual law. And it works with mathematical precision. The subconscious mind accepts as true whatever the conscious mind impresses upon it. Once the subconscious accepts your new concept of self, it works day and night to make this new concept a reality in your outer world. This is what is meant by the statement, according to your faith is it done unto you. Faith is not hoping or wishing. Faith is the complete acceptance of your desire as a present fact. It is the feeling of already being the person you want to be. When you attain this feeling and maintain it, your outer world must reshape itself accordingly. There is no other way. Now, some of you may wonder, how long will it take for my outer world to reflect my new inner state? To this I say, time is a creation of consciousness. In the realm of spirit, there is no time. The moment you completely accept your desires fulfilled, it is done. The outer manifestation will appear in its own appointed hour. Your responsibility is not to make it happen, but to remain faithful to your new concept of self. I have seen desires manifest in an instant, and I have seen them take weeks or months. The variable is not the law itself, which is immutable, but rather the intensity and consistency of your assumption. If you find yourself wavering between states, returning again and again to your old concept of self, the manifestation will be delayed. This is why I emphasize the importance of focusing on yourself daily. It is through daily attention to your inner state that you develop the spiritual muscle to maintain your desired state of consciousness. Just as an athlete must train daily to maintain physical prowess, so must you train daily to maintain the spiritual prowess of conscious manifestation. Many of you have read the words of Scripture, the kingdom of God is within you. What do you think this means? It means that the creative power of the universe resides within your own consciousness. The kingdom is not a place, it's a state of consciousness. And this state of consciousness is your own wonderful human imagination. When you focus on yourself daily, you are literally entering the kingdom of heaven. You are claiming your divine heritage as a creative being. You are accepting the truth that was spoken by the Master when he said, I and my Father are one. Now, please understand that this is not theory or philosophy. This is spiritual law. And I have tested it countless times in my own life and witnessed its operation in the lives of thousands. The law is this. What you focus on expands. What you assume to be true will harden into fact. The world you experience is a direct reflection of your concept of self. If you would change your world, you must first change your concept of self. And this change must be made in consciousness. You cannot change your outer world first and then expect your inner state to conform to it. It is always and forever from inner to outer, from imagination to manifestation, from consciousness to circumstance. Consider for a moment the miracle of sleep. Each night you surrender your consciousness to a state that appears as death. You have no control over your body, your senses are shut down. The world as you know it ceases to exist. Yet, in this state of apparent death, your heart continues to beat. Your lungs continue to breathe. Your cells continue to regenerate. Who or what is maintaining these functions while your conscious mind is suspended? It is the deeper self, the same power that grows your fingernails and digests your food without your conscious participation. This deeper self, this I am, is the God of which I speak. And it is this God that responds to your assumptions, to your concept of self, to the inner conversations you carry on day after day. When you focus on yourself daily, you are programming this deeper self with the template from which your reality will be formed. Your conscious mind selects the state, your subconscious mind creates the means of its expression. This is why it is written, as a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. What are you thinking in your heart? Not the superficial thoughts that come and go like clouds across the sky, but the deep, persistent assumptions that form the foundation of your mental life. These are the thoughts that shape your destiny. Now let me address a common misconception. Many believe that focusing on oneself is selfish or egotistical. Nothing could be further from the truth. When I speak of focusing on yourself, I am not advocating self-absorption or narcissism. I am advocating self-awareness, self-mastery, self-transformation. For when you transform yourself, that is, when you transform your concept of self, you automatically transform your world. The whole vast world is yourself pushed out. Therefore, the greatest service you can render to others is to assume the feeling of your wish fulfilled for yourself. Think of it this way, if you assume wealth for yourself, you do not take wealth from another. In consciousness, there is infinite abundance. If you assume health for yourself, you do not deprive another of health. In consciousness, there is perfect wholeness for all. If you assume love for yourself, you do not diminish the love available to others. In consciousness, love is boundless and eternal. When you focus on yourself daily, you are acknowledging the truth that all change begins within. You are accepting responsibility for your world. You are claiming your power as a created being. And in doing so, you are honoring the divine principle that resides within all of us. Now, let me share with you a simple technique for focusing on yourself daily. I call it the spiritual diet. Just as you would not think of going through a day without nourishing your physical body, do not go through a day without nourishing your spiritual self. Each morning upon awakening, before you engage with the outer world, spend a few moments in quiet contemplation. Ask yourself, how would I feel if I were the person I desire to be? What would my mental conversations be like? How would I see the world? Then throughout the day, whenever you catch yourself slipping into old patterns of thought or old assumptions, gently bring yourself back to your desired state. This is the practice of self-remembering, of being aware of your I amness throughout the day. In the evening, as you prepare for sleep, review your day. Where did you succeed in maintaining your desired state? Where did you falter? Make no judgments, simply observe. Then, as you drift off to sleep, once again assume the feeling of your wish fulfilled. For it is during sleep that your assumptions are most readily impressed upon the subconscious mind. This daily practice of self-focus will, over time, transform your entire life. For you are literally recreating yourself from within. You are exercising your divine prerogative as a creative being. You are fulfilling the scriptural injunction to be renewed by the transforming of your mind. Now, some of you may be thinking, but what about taking action in the outer world? Don't I need to do something to achieve my desires? To this I say, yes, action is important, but it is secondary to consciousness. The actions you take will be determined by the state of consciousness from which they spring. When you have truly assumed the state of your wish fulfilled, you will find yourself naturally taking the actions that support that state. You will not need to force yourself or struggle. The right actions will flow effortlessly from your new concept of self. This is what is meant by the statement, not by might nor by power, but by my spirit, says the Lord. The spirit referred to here is your own wonderful human imagination. It is through the exercise of imagination, not through struggle or strain, that your desires are realized. Consider the example of a person who desires wealth. This person can struggle and strain, working long hours, pinching pennies, always focused on the lack of money. Such a person may indeed accumulate some wealth, but at what cost? And how precarious will that wealth be, built as it is upon a consciousness of lack? Contrast this is the person who assumes the state of wealth, who feels the naturalness of abundance, who lives from the consciousness that all that the Father has is mine. This person may take the very same actions as the first, but these actions will be infused with confidence rather than fear, with joy rather than struggle. And the results will reflect this difference in consciousness. You see, the secret is not in the action itself, but in the state of consciousness from which the action springs. This is why two people can perform the same action and get entirely different results. It is not what you do, it is the state from which you do it that determines the outcome. When you focus on yourself daily, you are focusing on the source of all action, on the state of consciousness that precedes and determines all outcomes. You are attending to the cause rather than the effect. And when the cause is changed, the effect must change accordingly. Now, let me address another misconception. Some of you may think, but I've been imagining my desire for weeks or months and nothing has happened. This law must not work. To this I say the law always works without exception. If your desire has not manifested, it is not because the law has failed, but because you have not yet fully assumed the state of having your desire fulfilled. Perhaps you are imagining one thing while feeling another. Perhaps you are affirming wealth while secretly fearing poverty. Perhaps you are visualizing health while continuing to identify with illness. The subconscious mind responds not to your words or your images alone, but to feeling, the conviction, the assumption that underlies them. This is why I emphasize the importance of feeling. You must feel the reality of your desire with such intensity that, for a moment at least, it becomes your reality. You must experience the state so completely that, when you open your eyes, you are surprised to find that your desire is not yet physically realized. In the Bible, we read the story of Jacob wrestling with an angel. He would not let the angel go until it blessed him. This is a perfect metaphor for the practice of focusing on yourself daily. You must wrestle with your own consciousness, refusing to let go of your desired state until it blesses you with its manifestation. This wrestling may not be easy. Your old concept of self, reinforced by years of habit and by the evidence of your senses, will resist change. This is natural. But remember that your senses show you only the effects of past beliefs, not the reality that can be yours if you persist in your new assumption. When doubts arise, as they surely will, recognize them for what they are, the death throes of your old concept of self. Do not fight these doubts or try to suppress them. Simply observe them, acknowledge them, and then gently return to the feeling of your wish fulfilled. This practice of returning again and again to the feeling of your wish fulfilled is what it means to focus on yourself daily. It is not a matter of forcing change or struggling against what is. It is a matter of choosing moment by moment which state of consciousness you will occupy. And make no mistake, my dear friends, you always have this choice. No matter what your circumstances, no matter what your past, no matter what the evidence of your senses may tell you, you always have the freedom to choose your state of consciousness. This is your divine heritage, your inalienable right. Consider the life of Joseph in the Bible, sold into slavery by his brothers, falsely accused and imprisoned. He had every reason to assume the state of a victim. Yet the scripture tells us the Lord was with Joseph. This is another way of saying that Joseph maintained the consciousness of his divine identity despite his outer circumstances. And from this consciousness of his true identity, Joseph interpreted dreams, advised Pharaoh, and eventually rose to become second only to Pharaoh in all of Egypt. His outer circumstances changed dramatically because his inner state remained aligned with his true self. This is the power that is yours when you focus on yourself daily. You, like Joseph, can rise above any circumstance, transcend any limitation, overcome any obstacle, not by fighting against it, but by assuming the state that transcends it. Now I want to address something that many of you have experienced. You have a desire, you imagine it fulfilled, you feel the reality of it, and then doubt creeps in. Who am I to deserve this? What if it doesn't work? What will others think? These doubts, these fears, these limiting beliefs are not your true self speaking. They are the voice of your old concept of self, fighting to maintain its existence. For make no mistake, when you change your concept of self, something in you must die. The person you believed yourself to be cannot coexist with the person you are becoming. This death can be painful. It can be frightening. But it is a necessary prelude to rebirth. Unless a grain of wheat falls into the earth and dies, it remains alone. But if it dies, it bears much fruit. Your old concept of self must die for your new concept to bear fruit. When these doubts arise, do not fight them. Do not resist them. Simply observe them with detachment, knowing that they are not you. They are simply thoughts passing through your consciousness. You are the awareness in which these thoughts appear, not the thoughts themselves. Then, having observed these doubts without judgment, gently return to the feeling of your wish fulfilled. This is the art of persistence, of praying without ceasing, of maintaining the faith even in the face of contradictory evidence. Now I want to share with you a principle that may surprise you. The timing of your manifestation is not determined by how long you imagine or how intensely you feel. It is determined by the naturalness of the state you are assuming. When a state feels natural to you, when it feels like this is who I am, it manifests quickly. When a state feels unnatural, when you have to force yourself to believe it, the manifestation is delayed. This is why some desires manifest instantly while others take time. The key then is not to try harder, but to make your desired state more natural. How do you do this? Through daily focus, through repeatedly assuming the feeling of your wish fulfilled, through living from the end day after day until the end feels like the only possible reality. This is the true meaning of faith. Faith is not hoping that something will happen in the future. Faith is knowing that what you desire is already yours in consciousness, and therefore must manifest in your experience. Faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. The substance of your desire is the feeling of its fulfillment. When you capture this feeling and make it your own, you have the evidence that your desire must manifest, even though it cannot yet be seen with the physical eye. When you focus on yourself daily, you are building this faith, this certainty, this conviction that your desire is already fulfilled. And it is this conviction more than anything else that determines the speed and accuracy of your manifestation. Now, let me address another important aspect of focusing on yourself daily. Many of you are so concerned with what others think of you that you have lost touch with your own thinking about yourself. You have allowed the opinions of others to shape your concept of self. But I tell you this, no one can define you but you. No one can limit you but you. No one can determine your destiny but you. For you are the operant power, the only power that can conceive and believe and therefore achieve whatever you desire. When you focus on yourself daily, you are reclaiming this power. You are telling the universe, this is who I am, not based on others' opinions or on past evidence, but based on your own divine choice. This is spiritual autonomy, and it is your birthright. Some of you may ask, but what about my responsibilities to others? Don't I need to focus on them as well? To this I say the greatest gift you can give to others is the gift of your own fulfillment. For when you are fulfilled, when you are living from your highest concept of self, you naturally uplift everyone around you. Consider the instruction given on airplanes. In case of emergency, put on your own oxygen mask before assisting others. This is not selfishness, it is practical wisdom. For if you pass out from lack of oxygen, you cannot help anyone else. Similarly, if you are depleted spiritually, if you are living from a limited concept of self, how can you truly serve others? Your service will be tainted by resentment, by martyrdom, by the subtle belief that you must sacrifice yourself for others. But when you focus on yourself daily, when you nourish your own spirit, when you live from your highest concept of self, your service to others flows naturally and joyfully. You give not from depletion, but from abundance. You love not from neediness, but from fullness. You serve not from obligation, but from overflow. This is the true meaning of the commandment, love your neighbor as yourself. Note that it does not say love your neighbor instead of yourself or love your neighbor more than yourself. It says love your neighbor as yourself, implying that self-love is the foundation for love of others. When you focus on yourself daily, you are practicing this self-love. You are acknowledging your own worth, your own divine nature, your own infinite potential. And from this acknowledgement flows a natural love for all beings, for you recognize in them the same divine essence that you have recognized in yourself. This is why the truly awakened beings throughout history have radiated such immense love and compassion. It was not because they denied themselves or sacrificed themselves. It was because they knew themselves so completely, loved themselves so deeply, that this love naturally extended to all of creation. So do not be afraid to focus on yourself daily. Do not be misled by those who equate self-focus with selfishness. True self-focus, the kind I am advocating, leads not to selfishness, but to selflessness. Not the selflessness of self-denial, but the selflessness that comes from recognizing that the self you truly are is one with all of creation. Now, as we draw near to the conclusion of our time together, I want to leave you with a simple but powerful practice. Each night as you drift off to sleep, ask yourself this question: what am I conscious of being? Do not answer immediately. Let the question sink deep into your consciousness. Let it bypass your intellect and speak directly to your heart. For your heart knows the truth of who you are. Beneath all the layers of conditioning, beneath all the false beliefs, beneath all the limitations you have accepted. As the answer emerges from the depths of your being, hold it gently in your awareness. If it is not the self you wish to be, do not judge or condemn it. Simply observe it with compassion, knowing that it is not fixed or permanent, but can be transformed through the power of your imagination. Then, with the same gentleness, begin to shift your consciousness toward the self you wish to be. Feel yourself into that state. Become it in your imagination. Fall asleep in the assumption that this is who I am. This practice, performed faithfully each night, will gradually but inevitably transform your entire life. For night after night, you are impressing upon your subconscious mind a new concept of self. And your subconscious mind, being the faithful servant that it is, will work ceaselessly to make this new concept manifest in your outer world. Remember, my dear friends, the universe is not separate from you, not outside of you, not something you must manipulate or control. The universe is yourself pushed out. It is the mirror in which your concept of self is reflected. When you focus on yourself daily, you are polishing this mirror, clarifying the reflection, ensuring that what you see in your outer world is a true representation of your inner state. This is not magic or mysticism. It is spiritual law, as exact and as demonstrable as any law of physics. So I urge you, with all the conviction of one who has tested this principle and found it unfailingly true, focus on yourself daily. Attend to your inner state with the same diligence that you attend to your outer affairs. Monitor your assumptions as carefully as you monitor your investments. Guard your self-concept as vigilantly as you guard your physical health. For in truth, nothing is more important than the concept you hold of yourself. It is the foundation upon which your entire life is built. Change this foundation and you change everything. This is the promise and the power of focusing on yourself daily. And now, as we part, I leave you with these words. You are infinitely more than you have allowed yourself to believe. You are not merely a physical being having occasional spiritual experiences. You are a spiritual being having a temporary physical experience. The power that created the universe resides within you. The love that sustains all life flows through you. The wisdom that orders the cosmos is available to you. You are in a true sense divine, not in some future state after years of spiritual practice, but here and now in this very moment. When you focus on yourself daily, you are acknowledging this divinity. You are claiming your spiritual heritage. You are fulfilling the purpose for which you came into being. And in doing so, you are not only transforming your own life, but contributing to the transformation of the entire world. For we are all connected at the level of consciousness. We are all expressions of the one divine imagination. When you elevate your concept of self, you are elevating the consciousness of humanity. When you claim your divine nature, you are making it easier for others to claim theirs. This is why focusing on yourself daily is not merely a personal practice, it is a global service. It is your contribution to the evolution of consciousness on this planet. It is your gift to a world crying out for awakening. So go forth with confidence, with courage, with the unshakable conviction that you are the operant power in your world. Focus on yourself daily, not out of selfishness, but out of the recognition that you are the portal through which the divine enters your world. And as you transform yourself, watch in wonder and gratitude as your world transforms around you. For this is the promise and the fulfillment of the spiritual law. Be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Imagine, if you will, that you are standing before a vast, infinite sea of potential. This sea is not outside of you, but within you. It is the wellspring of all that is, was, and ever will be. And you, my dear friend, are the master of this sea. With every thought, with every feeling, with every declaration of I am, you are shaping the very fabric of your reality. Let us begin our morning affirmations with the recognition of abundance. Close your eyes for a moment and feel the truth of these words as I speak them. I am abundance. These words are not a plea to the universe, not a hope for some future state. They are a declaration of what is already true here and now. As you breathe in, feel the abundance that surrounds you, that permeates every cell of your being. The air you breathe is abundant, freely given. The thoughts in your mind are abundant, flowing ceaselessly. The love in your heart is abundant, expanding with each beat. Now let the feeling of abundance grow within you. See it as a golden light, radiating from the center of your chest, expanding outward, touching every aspect of your life. Your bank account is filled with this golden light of abundance. Your relationships are infused with it. Your health glows with it. I am abundance is not a statement of what you wish to be. It is an acknowledgement of what you already are. As this feeling of abundance settles into your being, let us turn our attention to self-love. For without self-love, how can we truly experience the fullness of life? Repeat after me, not just with your lips, but with your entire being. I am love. Feel these words resonate within you. You are not seeking love from outside sources. You are the very source of love itself. Every cell in your body is vibrating with this truth. Imagine now that you are standing before a mirror. Look into your own eyes and see the divine spark that resides there. This is not vanity. This is recognition of your true nature. As you gaze upon your reflection, say to yourself, I am worthy of love. I am deserving of all good things. I am beautiful inside and out. Let these words sink deep into your consciousness, erasing any doubt, any self-criticism that may have taken root. The love you feel for yourself begins to overflow. touching every aspect of your life. Your relationships become more harmonious because you no longer seek validation from others, you are complete within yourself. Your work becomes more fulfilling because you approach it from a place of self-respect and inner confidence. Your health improves because you treat your body as the temple it truly is. Now let us turn our attention to prosperity. The word prosperity comes from the Latin prosperous, meaning doing well. And my friends, you are doing well, for you are one with the source of all prosperity. Declare with conviction, I am prosperity. Feel the weight of these words, the power they hold. Prosperity is not just about money, though financial abundance is certainly a part of it. True prosperity is a state of thriving in all areas of life. See yourself walking through your day, surrounded by an aura of prosperity. Every step you take is on fertile ground. Every word you speak plants seeds of abundance. Every thought you think is aligned with the infinite riches of the universe. You are not chasing after prosperity, you are prosperity itself, manifesting in human form. As you embody this state of prosperity, notice how opportunities seem to appear out of nowhere. Doors that were once closed now open effortlessly. The right people come into your life at just the right time. Resources you need become available to you. This is not coincidence. This is the natural result of aligning yourself with the truth of your being. Let us now focus on success. What is success but the natural unfolding of your divine potential? Say to yourself, with unwavering faith, I am success. Success is not something to be achieved in the future. It is your current state of being. Every breath you take is a success. Every moment you exist is a triumph of creation. Imagine success as a radiant light emanating from within you. This light touches everything you do, everything you are. Your very presence brings success to every situation. When you enter a room, success enters with you. When you engage in a project, success is already assured. This is not arrogance. This is alignment with your true nature. As you go about your day, carry this consciousness of success with you. See every interaction, every task, every challenge as an opportunity to express your innate success. You cannot fail, for failure is merely a judgment, and you have risen above such limited thinking. You are success itself, expressing through your unique talents and gifts. Now let us turn our hearts and minds to gratitude. Gratitude is the key that unlocks the fullness of life. It is the recognition that all is well, that all is as it should be. Declare with all your heart, I am gratitude. Feel the shift that occurs within you as you say these words. The world around you seems to brighten, to come alive in new ways. Gratitude is not just a feeling, it is a state of being. As you embody gratitude, you become a magnet for more blessings, more reasons to be grateful. Start with the simplest things, the air you breathe, the ground beneath your feet, the beating of your heart. Express gratitude for these and watch how your awareness of blessings expands. See yourself moving through your day in a state of constant gratitude. Every person you meet is a gift. Every experience, whether perceived as positive or negative, is an opportunity for growth and learning. Every challenge is a stepping stone to greater strength and wisdom. As you embody gratitude, you will find that your entire perspective shifts. What once seemed ordinary now reveals its extraordinary nature. My dear friends, as we continue this morning's affirmations, let us delve deeper into the power of the I am statement. For in these two simple words lies the secret to transforming your entire existence. When you declare I am, you are aligning yourself with the creative force of the universe. You are stepping into your role as a co-creator of your reality. Let us now explore how these affirmations of abundance, self-love, prosperity, success, and gratitude create a tapestry of a life well lived. For each of these aspects is not separate from the others, but rather interconnected, each supporting and enhancing the others. As you declare, I am abundance, feel how this naturally flows into self-love. For when you recognize the abundance within and around you, how can you not love yourself? You are a vessel for this abundance, a channel through which it flows into the world. Love yourself for this sacred role you play in the grand design of life. And as self-love grows within you, watch how it nurtures the seeds of prosperity. For when you truly love yourself, you naturally align with experiences and opportunities that reflect this love back to you. You no longer settle for less than you deserve in your relationships, in your work, in any area of your life. Prosperity becomes your natural state, for you are in harmony with the abundant nature of the universe. Prosperity, in turn, supports your success. When you no longer worry about lack, when you know in the depths of your being that all your needs are always met, you are free to focus on expressing your unique gifts. Success is no longer a destination to be reached, but a journey to be enjoyed. Every step you take is a success because it is an expression of your true self. And with success comes an even deeper sense of gratitude. You are grateful not just for what you have, but for who you are. You are grateful for the journey, for the lessons learned, for the growth experienced. This gratitude then circles back, reinforcing your sense of abundance, and the cycle continues, ever expanding, ever enriching your life. Now, let us take a moment to address any doubts that may arise as you practice these affirmations. It is natural for the human mind to question, to doubt, to resist change. But remember, these doubts are not your true self speaking. They are old patterns, old beliefs that no longer serve you. When doubt arises, do not fight it. Instead, observe it with compassion and understanding. Then, gently but firmly, replace it with your I am affirmation. If a voice within there says, but I'm not really abundant, respond with, I am abundance itself. If it whispers, I don't deserve love, counter with, I am love incarnate. This is not denial of your current circumstances. It is a recognition of a deeper truth, a truth that exists beyond the temporary conditions of your life. You are not lying to yourself. You are aligning yourself with your true nature, your divine essence. As you practice these affirmations, you may find that your external circumstances do not change immediately. This is perfectly normal. Remember, you are working at the level of cause, not effect. The outer world is a reflection of your inner state. And it may take time for this reflection to fully manifest. But even as you wait for the outer changes, notice the inner transformation that begins immediately. Notice how you feel more centered, more peaceful. Notice how you begin to see opportunities where before you only obstacles. Notice how your relationships become more harmonious, how your work becomes more fulfilling. These inner changes are the true measure of your progress. For as you change within, the outer world cannot help but reflect this change. It is law, as immutable as gravity. Your task is simply to hold steady in your new consciousness, to persist in your declarations of I am, regardless of appearances. Let us now explore how these morning affirmations can be integrated into your daily life. For these are not mere words to be recited and then forgotten. They are seeds planted in the fertile soil of your subconscious mind, seeds that will grow and bear fruit if nurtured consistently. Begin each day with these affirmations. As you wake, before your feet touch the floor, declare I am abundance. I am love. I am prosperity. I am success. I am gratitude. Feel the power of these words coursing through your being, setting the tone for your entire day. As you go about your daily activities, let these affirmations be your constant companions. When faced with a challenge, remind yourself, I am success. When interacting with others, embody the truth that I am love. When making financial decisions, know that I am prosperity. But don't stop at mere repetition. Let these affirmations inform your actions, your decisions, your very way of being in the world. If you are abundance, how would you carry yourself? If you are love, how would you treat others and yourself? If you are prosperity, what choices would you make? If you are success, how would you approach your work? If you are gratitude, how would you perceive the world around you? Live from this place of I am and watch as your world transforms. For you are not merely affirming these truths, you are embodying them, becoming them in every cell of your being. Now let us a common misconception about these affirmations. Some may think that by declaring I am abundance or I am success, they are somehow denying or ignoring the challenges in their lives. This is not the case at all. These affirmations are not about ignoring reality. They are about choosing which reality you wish to align with. You see, my dear friends, there are infinite realities existing simultaneously. The reality you experience is the one you give your attention to, the one you align with through your thoughts, feelings, and declarations. When you say I am abundance, you are choosing to align with the reality where abundance is your natural state. This doesn't mean that challenges disappear magically, but it does mean that you approach these challenges from a place of abundance rather than act from a place of power rather than victimhood. And this shift in perspective changes everything. For example, if you face a financial challenge while holding the consciousness of I am prosperity, you will approach it with confidence and creativity. You will see it not as a problem to be feared, but as an opportunity to demonstrate your innate prosperity. And from this state of mind, solutions will present themselves that may have been invisible to you before. Similarly, if you encounter a difficult person or situation while affirming I am love, you will respond from a place of compassion and understanding rather than defensiveness or anger. This doesn't mean you become a doormat, quite the contrary. It means you operate from a place of such inner security and self-love that you can extend love to others without depleting yourself. As you continue with these morning affirmations, you may find that your definition of abundance, love, prosperity, success, and gratitude begins to expand. Abundance becomes more than just material wealth. It becomes an overflow of joy, creativity, and positive experiences. Love extends beyond romantic relationships to encompass a general state of harmony and connection with all of life. Prosperity reveals itself as more than financial well-being. It becomes a state of thriving in all areas of life, of having more than enough to share generously with others. Success transcends societal definitions to become a deep sense of fulfillment and purpose. And gratitude evolves from a reactive state to a proactive one, where you are thankful not just for what you have, but for what is yet to come. This expansion of consciousness is a natural result of aligning with your true self through these affirmations. As you consistently declare and embody these truths, you will find that your awareness grows, your perception deepens, and your capacity for joy and fulfillment increases exponentially. Now let us address the role of patience and persistence in this practice. The power of these affirmations lies not in saying them once or twice, but in making them a consistent part of your life. Just as a single workout doesn't transform your physical body, a single affirmation doesn't instantly change your life circumstances. It is the consistent, persistent application of these truths that brings about lasting change. Think of it as reprogramming your subconscious mind. For years, perhaps decades, your subconscious has been operating on certain beliefs and patterns. These morning affirmations are like uploading new software to your mental computer. It takes time and repetition for this new programming to take full effect. But here's the beautiful truth. Even as you wait for the full manifestation of these affirmations in your outer world, you can enjoy the benefits immediately in your inner world. The peace, the joy, the sense of empowerment that comes from aligning with your true self is available to you right now. in this very moment. So be patient with yourself and with the process. Trust that as you consistently affirm and embody these truths, your outer world will inevitably align with your inner state. The universe has no choice but to reflect back to you what you hold as true within yourself. As we near the end of our time together this morning, I want to remind you of a fundamental truth. You are not separate from the creative power of the universe. You are one with it, an individualized expression of it. When you say I am, you are speaking from this place of oneness, this place of infinite potential. Your task then is not to become something you are not. It is to remember and embody what you have always been. These affirmations are not about adding something to yourself, but about removing the veils of limiting beliefs that have obscured your true nature. As you go forth from this moment, carry with you the consciousness of I am. Let it infuse every aspect of your being, every action you take, every word you speak. Know that as you do this, you are not just changing your own life, you are contributing to the elevation of consciousness for all humanity. For we are all connected, all part of the same infinite sea of consciousness. As you rise, you lift others with you. As you embody abundance, love, prosperity, success, and gratitude, you make it easier for others to do the same. This is your gift to the world, your unique contribution to the evolution of human consciousness. And so, my dear friends, I leave you with this final affirmation: I am the light of the world. Feel the truth of these words. You are not just a physical body, not just a personality, not just a collection of experiences and memories. You are the light of consciousness itself, shining brightly in this world. Let this light shine forth in all that you do. Let it guide you in your decisions, in your relationships, in your work. Let it be a beacon of hope and inspiration for all who cross your path. For as you recognize and embody your true nature, you give others permission to do the same. Remember, the power to transform your life lies within you. It always has, and it always will. These morning affirmations are simply a way of tapping into that power, of bringing it to the forefront of your awareness. Use them wisely, use them consistently, and watch as your life transforms in miraculous ways. Go forth now, embodying the truth of your being. Declare with confidence and joy, I am abundance. I am love. I am prosperity. I am success. I am gratitude. Let these words be your constant companions, your guiding light, your very breath. For you are all of these things and more. You are the infinite potential of the universe, expressing itself in human form. Embrace this truth, live from this awareness, and watch as your world transforms before your very eyes. And always remember, my dear friends, that the greatest affirmation of all is simply this: I am. For in these two words lies the power to create worlds, to shape realities, to manifest dreams. You are the I am, forever and always. Let this be your morning song, your daily meditation, your eternal truth. As we conclude our time together, I want you to take a moment to feel the energy that has been generated through these affirmations. Feel the vibration of truth resonating within you. This energy is not separate from you, it is you. It is the essence of your being awakened and activated through your conscious recognition and declaration. Carry this energy with you throughout your day. Let it inform your thoughts, your words, your actions. When you encounter challenges, remember that you are the I am that is greater than any obstacle. When you experience moments of doubt, recall the truth of your being, abundance, love, prosperity, success, and gratitude incarnate. As you move through your day, be aware of the subtle shifts that occur within you and around you. Notice how your perception changes, how your interactions with others become more harmonious, how opportunities seem to align effortlessly with your desires. This is not coincidence, it is the natural result of your alignment with your true self. Remember that this practice of morning affirmations is not a one-time event, but a lifelong journey of self-discovery and self-realization. Each day brings new opportunities to deepen your understanding, to expand your consciousness, to more fully embody the truth of your being. Embrace this journey with joy and anticipation, knowing that each step brings you closer to the full expression of your divine potential. Finally, as you go forth from this moment, know that you carry within you the power to transform not just your own life, but the entire world. For as you embody these truths, you become a living affirmation, a walking testament to the power of the I Am. Your very presence becomes a blessing. You're like a sacred gift to all of creation. Go forth then and be the light that you are, shining brightly for all to see. Let me begin by telling you that your consciousness is the only reality. Everything you perceive in your external world is nothing more than the outpicturing of your internal states. When I say 3 days, I speak not of terrestrial time, but of states of consciousness that you must pass through. The first day represents your awakening to the truth that your imagination creates reality. The second day is the Sabbath, where you rest in the assumption that your desire is already fulfilled. The third day is the resurrection, where your desire manifests in the external world. Consider the story in Scripture where Jesus said he would rebuild the temple in 3 days. The people thought he spoke of the physical temple, but he spoke of the temple of consciousness. You see, every desire you hold is already fulfilled in a dimension of consciousness, waiting for you to enter that state. Let me share with you the exact process. When you desire something, you must first know that it already exists in what I call the fourth dimension, the dimension of imagination. Your task is not to create it, for it already exists. Your task is to occupy the state of consciousness where this desire is already fulfilled. Now, many of you have tried visualization before, but you've done it from a place of wanting, of needing, of lacking. This is why it hasn't worked. You must visualize from a place of already having. This is the secret of the 3-day manifestation. The natural unfoldment of your manifestation during these 3 days operates according to what I call the law of least action. Your outer world will reorganize itself in the most natural and effortless way to match your inner assumption. But you must allow this reorganization without interfering with the how. Many of you try to dictate the manner in which your desire should manifest. This is a fundamental error. During these 3 days, your only concern should be maintaining the feeling of your wish fulfilled. The bridge of incidents, the series of events that will lead to your manifestation, will build itself. Think of a seed planted in the ground. It doesn't strain or struggle to become a tree. It doesn't try to push through the soil. It simply contains within itself the pattern of its full expression, and nature automatically provides the means for its growth. Your consciousness works in exactly the same way. During these 3 days, you must be like that seed, confident in the pattern of fulfillment that you contain within your consciousness. Your imaginal act, when properly performed with feeling and conviction, contains within itself everything needed for its manifestation. Let me share with you a principle that few understand. The state of consciousness that you assume during these 3 days must be maintained without effort. If you're straining to maintain your state, you're doing it wrong. When you truly assume a state, it feels natural and effortless. Consider how effortlessly you maintain the awareness of being who you currently believe yourself to be. You don't wake up each morning and struggle to remember your name or your current circumstances. This is the same naturalness you must feel in your new state. Your manifestation will often come in ways you could never have planned or anticipated. This is why trying to plan the how is not only unnecessary, but can actually delay your manifestation. Your role during these 3 days is to maintain the end, the state of fulfillment, and let the law handle the means. Maintaining the end state during these 3 days requires a complete abandonment of your former concept of self. You cannot serve 2 masters. You cannot claim to be wealthy while simultaneously budgeting from a consciousness of lack. You cannot claim perfect health while planning around illness. This is where the real test of your understanding comes in. During these 3 days, you must completely abandon the old man, as Scripture calls it. The old man represents your former concept of self with all its limitations and doubts. You must die to that self completely. Let me share with you a profound truth. Your outer world will present you with every reason to return to your former state of consciousness. Friends will remind you of your past. Circumstances will seem to contradict your new assumption. Your own senses will deny your imaginal act. But during these 3 days, you must be like Daniel in the lion's den, completely unmoved by appearances. Your inner conviction must be stronger than all external evidence. This is not denial. This is understanding the true cause and effect relationship between consciousness and reality. Remember, what you are seeing now in your world is the effect of past assumptions. It has no power to prevent the expression of your new assumption, except the power you give it through your attention and belief. During these 3 days, you must give your attention solely to your new state. Your inner conversations during this period are crucial. When you talk to yourself, and you do it constantly, from what state are you talking? Are you talking from the state of having your desire fulfilled? Or are you talking from the state of wanting, hoping, trying to get? Every inner conversation must be from the consciousness of already being what you want to be. If you catch yourself in an inner conversation that contradicts your desired state, stop immediately and revise it. Your inner talking reveals your true state of consciousness. These inner conversations during the 3 days are the threads that weave the fabric of your reality. When you talk to yourself from the state of fulfillment, when your inner dialogue consistently supports your new state, you are literally birthing your new reality into existence. Let me give you a specific technique for monitoring your inner conversations during these 3 days. Imagine you have a faithful friend who follows you everywhere, listening to every word you say to yourself. Would this friend be convinced of your new state by your inner dialogue? Would they hear the conversations of someone who has what you desire, or someone who is still seeking it? You see, your subconscious mind is that faithful friend recording every inner conversation, every assumption, every feeling state. During these 3 days, you must feed it only the conversations that support your new state. If you desire wealth, your inner conversations must be those of a wealthy person. If you desire health, your inner dialogue must be from the state of perfect health. Consider the words of Scripture. Let the weak say, I'm strong. This is not about affirmations. It's about a complete transformation of your inner talking. During these 3 days, you must not only say you are what you desire to be, you must think from that state in your most private moments. Here's a crucial point that many miss. Your inner conversations must feel natural. If you're assuming wealth, don't have inner conversations about spending millions if that feels unnatural to you. Instead, have natural conversations that imply financial freedom. Perhaps you're telling a friend how wonderful it feels to be debt-free, or how satisfying it is to be able to help others financially. During these 3 days, watch your reactions when you're alone. When you read the news, when you see others' success, when you face challenges, what is your inner conversation? Your reactions reveal your true state of consciousness. If you react from the old state, revise immediately. Remember, these 3 days are not about duration, but about intensity of conviction. When your inner conversations consistently match your desired state, when your reactions automatically spring from your new state, when your private thoughts align with your assumption, that's when you've truly occupied your new state. Maintaining consistency in your new state during these 3 days requires what I call mental chemistry. Just as a chemist maintains the purity of their compounds, you must maintain the purity of your consciousness. Any thought, any feeling, any inner conversation that contradicts your new state must be immediately transmuted. Consider this. If you were to put a drop of ink in a glass of clear water, the entire glass becomes tinted. Your consciousness works the same way. One negative thought, one doubtful inner conversation, one fearful assumption can taint your entire mental atmosphere. This is why vigilance during these 3 days is crucial. Let me share with you a secret about maintaining this consistency. It's not about forcing yourself to think positive thoughts. It's about understanding so completely that your imagination creates reality, that any thought contrary to your desire becomes impossible to entertain. Think about this. Do you have to force yourself to believe that 2 + 2 = 4? Of course not. You understand it so completely that doubting it would be absurd. This is how your faith in your imaginal act must be during these 3 days. Your understanding must be so complete that when someone asks about your problem, You genuinely have to think to remember what they're talking about. This is not pretense. This is the result of fully occupying your new state of consciousness. During these 3 days, you must guard the mood of fulfillment. Moods are the fabric out of which your future is cut. If you maintain the mood of having what you desire, if you sleep in this mood, if you walk in this mood, if you live in this mood, your outer world must reshape itself to match this inner atmosphere. Here's a vital point about these 3 days. You must learn to distinguish between thinking of your desire and thinking from its fulfillment. When you think of something, you maintain the separation between yourself and your desire. When you think from it, you have embodied it in consciousness. Thinking from the end during these 3 days means that every thought, every action, every decision must spring from the consciousness of already being what you desire to be. This is not about pretending or acting. It's about completely inhabiting your new state. Let me explain this with absolute clarity. When you think from the end, you don't see your desire as something to be achieved in the future. You see it as an accomplished fact in the present. During these 3 days, there is no future tense in your consciousness regarding your desire. Consider how you think about your name. You don't hope to be your name. You don't affirm your name. You simply are your name. This is how natural your desired state must feel during these 3 days. You don't hope to be wealthy. You think, feel, and act from the consciousness of wealth. You don't anticipate perfect health. You think, feel, and act from the consciousness of perfect health. Here's a profound secret about these 3 days. They exist outside of time. In your imagination, where all creation takes place, there is no time. When you enter your imaginal scene, you enter a dimension where time does not exist. This is why your desire can manifest instantly when your consciousness is fully convinced. During these 3 days, you must learn to live in the end. Every morning when you wake, your first thoughts must be from the end. Every night when you sleep, your last thoughts must be from the end. Every moment in between must be lived from the consciousness of your wish fulfilled. Let me share with you a technique I call living backward. Instead of seeing your desire as something to move toward, see it as something from which you are living. Just as you remember your past, remember your desire as something that has already happened. Feel the satisfaction, the completion, the naturalness of it being done. Your entire mental activity during these 3 days must be subordinated to your new assumption. Every thought that doesn't contribute to the naturalness of your new state must be dismissed, not by force, but by your understanding that it has no power except the power you give it. The mental discipline required during these 3 days is not about forcing yourself to think certain thoughts. It's about understanding the laws so completely that disciplined thinking becomes natural. When you truly grasp that consciousness is the only reality, controlling your thoughts becomes as natural as controlling your steps when you walk. Let me share with you what I call the mental diet for these 3 days. Just as you wouldn't eat food that you know would poison your body, you must not consume thoughts that would poison your assumption. Every mental meal, every inner conversation, every imaginative act must nourish your new state of consciousness. During these 3 days, you must be aware that your 5 senses are giving you reports based on your past assumptions. They will try to tell you that your new state is not true. This is where most people falter. They trust their senses more than their imagination. But remember, your senses can only show you what has been. Your imagination shows you what can be. Here's a crucial point about these 3 days. You must learn to distinguish between the voice of your old state and the voice of your new state. The old state will speak to you of limitations, of past failures, of reasons why your desire cannot be fulfilled. The new state speaks with quiet confidence, with the calm assurance of present possession. Consider how a wealthy person thinks about money. They don't constantly think about money, they simply know it's there. This is how you must be during these 3 days. Don't constantly think about your desire. Live from the quiet assumption that it is already yours. Your mental discipline must extend to your emotional reactions. During these 3 days, you must react to every situation from your new state of consciousness. If something happens that would normally upset you, you must react from the consciousness of your wish fulfilled. This is not suppressing emotions, it's choosing which state of consciousness will generate your emotions. Let me share with you a powerful technique for maintaining this discipline. Throughout these 3 days, ask yourself this question. If my desire were already fulfilled, how would I react to this situation? Then react that way. Not as an act, but as a natural expression of your new state. Emotional mastery during these 3 days is crucial because your emotional reactions reveal your true state of consciousness. It's not what you say or do that matters most. It's how you feel. Your feelings are the secret speaking voice of your assumptions. Here's a profound truth about emotional mastery. You don't need to create new emotions. You need to occupy the state produces the emotions you desire. During these 3 days, if you're truly living in the state of your wish fulfilled, the appropriate emotions will flow naturally. Consider this. When you've actually achieved something, you don't need to generate feelings of achievement. The feeling comes naturally from the state of having achieved. This is how your emotions should be during these 3 days. Natural, effortless, flowing from your assumed state. Let me share with you what I call the feeling tone of fulfillment. Every state has its own feeling tone, its own emotional frequency. During these 3 days, you must become so familiar with the feeling tone of your fulfilled desire that you can return to it instantly as you can recall a familiar melody. Your emotional life during these 3 days must be consistent with having your desire fulfilled. If you're assuming wealth, you can't feel the anxiety of lack. If you're assuming perfect health, you can't feel the fear of illness. Your emotional reactions must automatically spring from your new state. Here's a secret about emotional mastery. Emotions follow thought. During these 3 days, if you find yourself experiencing unwanted emotions, don't fight them. Instead, change the thought that's producing them. Change your inner conversation, and your emotions will change automatically. Remember, during these 3 days, you're not trying to create something new. You're stepping into a state where your desire is already fulfilled. The emotions appropriate to that state are already there, waiting for you to embody them. You don't need to manufacture them. You need to assume the state that naturally produces them. The feeling tone you must maintain during these 3 days is not one of excitement or anticipation. It's the calm, natural feeling of already being what you desire to be. This is a crucial distinction that many miss. They maintain the feeling of wanting their desire rather than the feeling of having it. Let me share with you the subtle but vital difference. When you genuinely have something, there's a quiet certainty about it. You don't walk around constantly thinking about having it. You simply know it's yours. This is the feeling tone you must capture and maintain during these 3 days. You think about how you feel about something you absolutely know to be true, like your name or where you live. There's no effort in maintaining that feeling of certainty. During these 3 days, your desired state must feel just as natural, just as effortless to maintain. Here's a profound secret about the feeling tone. It must be maintained even in your sleep. This is why your last thoughts before sleep are so crucial. During these 3 days, you must fall asleep in the consciousness of your wish fulfilled. Your subconscious mind works throughout the night to make your dominant feeling tone your new reality. The feeling tone I'm speaking of is not superficial emotion. It's a deep, underlying sense of knowing. During these 3 days, if someone were to question your assumption, it should feel as absurd as someone questioning whether you are who you know yourself to be. Consider this. When you're healthy, you don't walk around constantly affirming health. You simply feel healthy naturally. When you're wealthy, you don't constantly think about being wealthy. You simply feel financially secure naturally. This is the kind of natural feeling tone you must maintain. Your feeling tone during these 3 days must be so consistent that it becomes your default state. When challenges arise, when circumstances seem to contradict your assumption, your feeling tone of fulfillment must remain undisturbed, like the depths of the ocean remaining calm despite surface storms. Maintaining undisturbed consciousness during these 3 days is your final and most important task. Like a deep lake that remains unmoved by surface winds, your consciousness must remain stable in your assumed state, regardless of external circumstances. Remember this final truth. These 3 days are not measured by the clock, by the depth and consistency of your consciousness. When you can maintain your new state without effort, when your feeling tone remains undisturbed by external events, when your inner conversations naturally flow from your fulfilled desire, then you have truly completed your 3 days. The law is your servant, but you must remain faithful to your assumption until it hardens into fact. Like Neville's story of Abdullah telling him you are in Barbados, you must persist until your desired state feels more real than any contrary evidence. Your 3 days are complete when you no longer have to remind yourself of your desire's fulfillment, when you simply are what you desire to be. At this point, manifestation is not just possible, it is inevitable. Let me leave you with this final wisdom. The power that you seek is already within you. These 3 days are not about creating something new. They are about awakening to what already is. Your desire is already fulfilled in consciousness. Your task is simply to occupy that state until it becomes your physical reality. Trust in the law, maintain your assumption, and watch as your world reshapes itself to match your new state of consciousness. For consciousness is the only reality, and what you are conscious of being, you must become. Thank you for your attention, and remember, the same power that created the universe lies within you, waiting to be acknowledged and expressed through your consciousness.